Hi guys, my name is Vanessa Smedley and I am a painter. Today we are going to do a demonstration in watercolor pencils. Watercolor pencils are a lot of fun. I think they are anyway. They make kind of this hybrid look between pencil sketching and watercolor, and to me it's a very interesting look. So today we are going to paint this little guy. It should be a lot of fun. And let's do this. Okay, so today for materials, we have my Artist's Loft sketchbook. It's got 140-pound watercolor paper in it, and it's a half sheet size, and it's spiral bound. We're gonna be using watercolor pencils today, and this is the Derwent watercolor set. There's 36 of them in there, and we also will be using the Derwent Inktense set, also 36. This is what the pencils look like. This is the regular watercolor pencil, and it is faceted like a regular pencil. This is the Inktense one, and it's rounded, and it's a little bigger with a bigger pigment filament in it. The Inktense tend to be a little more intense. You see what they did there? The colors are more intense, and they are actually harder to lift as well, so I think they have a bit of a staining quality. These are a little bit more subdued, but I like to use both of them together in case, in case I have more intense colors. I like to use both of them. So we have a set of water brushes here. This is small, medium, large, and flat. And if you haven't used these before, they have a little water well in the handle, and you take them apart like that, and you refill it as you use it, and you squeeze them in order to get some water to come out, and that's you activate the pencil that way. These work really well for that because the water's in there and you don't have to keep dipping. All right, I thought I would just show you how these work really quick. Right now we have ultramarine blue, and you just, if you want a light line, you just do it like that. If you want it to be really dark, you make sure that it's saturated very well with the pigment. So we take a water brush, we squeeze it just a little bit, and we start activating this color. And you can drag it out just like regular watercolor, just like that. And then the darker one down here, you get a lot more color, a lot more saturation, and you can also drag that out. So that is how watercolor pencils work. Since watercolor pencils tend to look a lot different on the pencil, or even when you start sketching with them, than they do when they're activated, I suggest doing swatch cards like these, where you make a little swatch and then you drag it out to a gradient with the water, so that you can actually see what it looks like when it's dried and when it's ready. Because also, especially the Inktense doesn't have like your regular color names like cadmium red or anything like that. They have like tangerine, poppy red, so you wouldn't necessarily know what the colors look like unless you make little swatch cards like this. And that's helped me a lot to be able to pick the colors that I need. I have this pre-drawn, and I am using raw sienna from the watercolor set to lay down a foundation of color. I do want to mention that you can actually mix color on a separate sheet of paper or surface, and then you can bring it into your painting on your water brush. You also can actually take the tip of the pencil itself and take pigment off of it, and then with your brush, and then bring it into the painting as well. I'm adding Sienna Gold from the Inktense set here for a little more orangey tones, and then I am adding Copper Beech from the watercolor set into the darker areas for a more brown tone. One other note here, you don't actually have to use a water brush. You can totally use your normal brushes. I'm adding golden brown from the watercolor set here for a little bit of variation. For the eyes, I'm going to go with straw yellow from the watercolor set. Okay, for the little pink nose, I am adding a combo of pale peach and rose pink, both from the watercolor set. And then I am going back in with my favorite shadow color, which is blue-gray from the watercolor set, and I'm adding shadows to a lot of this white area. I'm coming back in with some raw sienna to darken some of those areas that I feel like I left a little bit too light. I am using a medium water brush here to start activating this color. And oh my gosh, we are getting into such an awkward stage in this painting. I mean awkward like a voice cracking 13-year-old awkward type of awkward. Occasionally a painting or sketch will get into one of those ugly phases and it stays there for such a long time that I start to wonder, is this really going to work out and be okay? And this is definitely one of those paintings. And here I'm adding back in some copper beech and some burnt sienna to try to get some definition and some separation in all these colors. And now I've got my medium brush and I'm activating all this brown I just added. And switch to the small brush and activate the small areas. And now I'm adding Indian ink from the Inktense set, and we are going to start putting in some stripes and some of this dark black on this guy. I am basically just scribbling in all of these stripes. It seems like our tiger is finally starting to get out of that awkward stage. Goodness gracious, it took quite a long time this time. Here's a fun fact for you. When I was in middle school, I used to almost exclusively paint things like lions and tigers and bears. No, just kidding. Like jaguars and cheetahs and all that kind of stuff. It's time to start thinking about the background, and when I'm given an orange subject like this, I'm almost always going to go with the complementary color, which is blue. Complementary colors usually kind of vibrate against each other in the eyes. So I am coming in with Peacock Blue from the Inktense set. I am just going to scribble that into the background. And then I'm going to add some deep indigo to certain areas to give it a little bit of variation. And I am taking that small water brush and I'm going back and activating all these stripes. You definitely want to use a small one on this because you don't want that black to get out of control. It is very, very strong. The temptation when you are doing black stripes like this is to do the stripes very, very straight, but you need to take into account the fur on this guy. So I am trying to get like kind of a fur pattern on the edges of this. Now I am taking the flat water brush and I am activating the background. Near the ears and near the fluffy parts of his face, I'm doing a little bit of negative painting, leaving the white and just kind of filling in the gaps with the blue to do a little bit of negative painting there for his fur, because I don't want to cover up that fur texture. Now I am coming back in with a little bit of blue-gray to do some shadow on top of the eyes. I'm adding some Inktense Shiraz into the nose to darken it up a bit. Also, the darkest shadows on the side of the nose are a little bit light for me, so I'm coming back in with Vandyke Brown from the watercolor set. It's time to add the whiskers, so I'm using a Pentel Milky Pop Pen here. I apologize, I did not have that in my supplies list, but I'll put it in the description. That white pen really did not show up, so I'm coming back in with some white gouache and a quadruple 0 sized round brush and adding the whiskers in a little thicker so that we can actually see the little suckers. I decided it kind of looked like he has a big dent in his forehead, so I took some copper beech and added in some more darks in that area to get that weird indentation out of his forehead. And here is what the finished sketch looks like. And there you have it, a nice little watercolor pencil sketch. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I hope that you might buy a set of your own and give it a shot. Give it a try. I think they're a lot of fun, and they are definitely a very easy way to take a watercolor medium with you on the road or out to the field. You know, all you need are some water brushes, the pencils, and some paper. You don't even have to take a big jug of water. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that stuff, because that is how this channel gets to grow. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.